This video is going to cover how to install a 4-pin taillight converter kit on an SLK320. Assume it would also be valid for the SLK230 as well. The kit is a single purchase order item on the eTrailer.com website. It arrives in two parts. One part is this module that is the controller of the lights, and then there's a power cable with a fuse that allows power to go from the 12-volt battery up under the hood all the way back here to the trunk. I also purchased this little tester, 4-pin tester, on Amazon just to help test the lights without having to hook the trailer up every time. To install the kit, to install the lights, you have to have access behind these plastic panels, and to get the plastic panels off, you have to lift this latch here up, and that's the latch for the roof. And to do that requires that you loosen a hydraulic nut back under here so that you can manually open and close the roof. All of that is covered. All the how to take the panels off and how to move the roof, that's covered in a SLK World video that I'll include in a link in the description. It's not going to be covered in this video, as well as I'm not going to cover the how to install the trailer hitch itself. That's also included in this other video. A quick overview of the video starts here. This is a fuse box underneath the hood. It's where the 12 volts is tapped into to power the taillight converter kit. It then runs a wire back underneath the battery there, and then through the firewall. It goes into the cabin area, into the carpet, underneath the carpet on the passenger side, goes all along the running board on the passenger side, and then there's a hole here that it goes through from the cabin into the trunk area back here. And then once it's back here, it goes under this carpet. That carpet's taken out, and then it runs back along there and then snakes its way in and underneath this plastic panel here where the module is screwed against the wall of the body. Now, the amount of time I spent putting in this trailer light kit was probably 2 to 3 days. That's not continuous effort, but it was me trying to figure out how to route the power wires and little other assorted problems. But I think it wouldn't be more than that. But I certainly would advise if you use this as your primary vehicle, you might want to allot some time to get it done, like over a weekend or something. To get power for the trailer lights, I popped open this junction box under the hood, and I used mine. I have a 6-cylinder, so this was a spare. These two terminals here actually had no nuts on them at all. It's just open. So the power comes in here from the battery, the positive lead of the battery, and then it runs across the bar, and then I used the 10 amp fuse that came with the converter kit to basically jump across here and give power to the black lead here, which also came with the kit. It runs all the way back through the firewall and into the trunk. I suppose I could have used a 10 amp fuse. I don't know if they even make 10 amp fuses like these. Might have been possible to use that there, but since the kit came with this, I went ahead and used that. I put thread lock on these threads, on these nuts. They're just nuts that I had laying around. There were no nuts to start here. And then to get that black wire to go through the firewall, I had to take out the battery. And behind the battery, there's actually a round rubber plug, and it has multiple holes allowing wires to go through the firewall, and the holes are plugged up with little tiny plugs. So I got a pair of needle nose pliers and just yanked one of them out that was about the same size as the wire I'm using here to go through. firewall. I guess if you did have a 4-cylinder, you wouldn't be able to use this, and you would either have to just hook it directly to the positive, or, as some people did, hook it to the power in the trunk that is used for the hydraulic pump itself. So next I'll show what it's like on the other side of the firewall, under the passenger side. So to see where the wire came through under the firewall, we have to pull out the carpet, and then you have to pull back this piece of carpet that's, I guess, the bigger piece of carpet. Behind that there's a piece of styrofoam, and then you have to remove this plate here, which gives you a little more space to see the firewall plug. There's 2 screws. I've already removed them. There's 2 Phillips screws on each side, and that allows this panel to drop down, and there's a little tab back there that you slide out, and then you can get rid of that. After you get rid of all that, then you can see back here where the plug is. It is up there in the corner, and you can see the black wire. You can't exactly see the black wire coming through. It's this black wire right there. Let's see if I can move the camera around a little. You can see a gray wire coming through. Let's see if I can pull these wires back a little bit. See, better shot. But it's coming through, and that's what's coming through from under the trunk. And then I ran this wire. I basically just tucked it back behind all this plastic, in between the plastic and the foam, and then I ran it along under here. Just tucked it along. I didn't have to take anything off. Just sort of lifted up the plastic and stuck the wire underneath, and did that all along this running board here. And then it went down in under here and back through this back here. So I'll do that, show you that next. To get back behind the seat to route the wire, the power wire, to the end of the trunk, these 3 screws here have to be taken out, and they're T9 screws. So after those are out, then you can pull this foam edging off, and then it exposes back behind there to see where the wire goes. So now with the plate off, you can see this just it's like foam. It just sort of clamps on to the edge of the car, and it can be pulled off and pulled back. And after you do that, then you can get back here and see. And you can see down there, there's the black wire. I had it, and I routed it to make sure it did not interfere. I can't totally get back behind there, but you can see it's right there with the tie wrap. I made sure that it doesn't get in the way of the seatbelt mechanism. So I just followed existing wires there. So to get the black power wire to go into the trunk, I ran a fiberglass rod from the trunk into this compartment here so that I could tape the power wire onto that, and then I just pulled it back through. So that is actually coming in through this side back here. Took a couple of tries to get it through there. It's going in there, but following existing cables and in between some looks like fiberglass insulation. Here in the trunk of the car, the power is now coming on this cable. It came in through from the back passenger side. It slipped through there, and then it's going along here. You can see I've got zip ties. I added all those white zip ties. And it's coming along here, and it comes down, turns here, to go around all the moving parts here. This whole thing here moves, so you have to be very careful and make sure nothing gets in the way of that. And then here the power actually goes into the back of this. You can't see it, it's turned backwards, but that's the 4-way converter for the trailer lights. The wires here are the ones that come out to control the brakes and left and right turn and tail light. Those are put into this connector here. I don't know if you can see the numbers there. I'll print the numbers out for which ones go where. And then the blue connectors are splice connectors that came with the kit. The only wire that's different is the one for the right turn. It has to go over to the other side. So it goes along over to the other connector, and then there's the splice into the pin for that, which you can see it there. It's the brown, it's the green and black one. So this is the ground. This bolt was already there, and the white wire is actually from the converter unit. It grounds there. You also notice down below in there, the actual 4-pin connector that goes to the trailer is going through, get down in there, it's that white, brown, yellow, and green wire. It's going through some kind of a vent here, and I had to knock out a couple of the vanes of the vent to allow that connector to go out. And then the connector's coming out here. I'll show you photos I've taken of that. And then it runs around down here, and it's coming out underneath here. So there it is there. So this shows how I attach the wires to the bumper using zip ties, and I was trying to make sure that the wires didn't get too close to the exhaust so that it wouldn't melt the wire. So you can see it's sort of routed around that hole there at the bottom. To wrap up this video, just wanted to point out that I got most of my information on installing the trailer hitch off of this SLK World website. One of the posts was very, very helpful, and it'll be included as a link in my description field. And if there's anything I left out or overlooked, you can leave me a comment on my YouTube channel, and I'm hoping in the future to also post a link to the video in SLK World thread as well. So if anything comes up, just let me know. Wanted to add also that after I installed the trailer hitch, it seemed like my spare tire doesn't quite fit the way it did before. For me, this isn't a big deal. The tire wasn't, I don't think it works anyway. But it could also be something I did. Maybe I didn't do it 100% correct, but you can see the bolts there, and the bar are jutting out just a bit, and they actually rub against the tire. So just wanted to mention it in case that's a deal breaker for anyone.